Hi, welcome. So this is sort of a devlog slash introduction to MarineVerse Cup. Uh, and the content here is valid as of March 22. And just please bear in mind, we are currently working on actually improving all of that. So some things may change. But I thought it may be helpful to share all the different concepts that are currently in the MarineVerse Cup, because this will help us make sense of it and hopefully simplify it and make it better, but also it may be useful for users like you right now that are trying to find their way around the MarineVerse Cup. Just briefly, MarineVerse Cup has two main goals. We are trying to help you learn how to sail and then apply those skills that you learn in racing, where you can do sailboat racing with players from around the globe. So learning how to sail and racing. And what you can see on the screen is sort of like the welcome screen, or one of the welcome screens in the MarineVerse Cup. And on the right-hand side, you can see all those icons that basically lead you to different areas of the app. And there is lots of concepts that are being thrown around, and it can be quite overwhelming when you're first playing the game, trying to make sense of all of it. So I'll try to show you how those concepts relate to each other and what they are. And again, this is kind of for us trying to make sense of it as we improve it, but it may be helpful for you. So embrace yourself, because the next screen is going to be quite overwhelming when you see it. Here it is. But we'll go through it step by step, and hopefully we'll make sense of it. So I will start with the first concept, which is a user. That's you when you start playing the game. And really, I guess what I'm kind of trying to show is that there is also a user account, and that's really what most of the other concepts in MarineVerse Cup are related to. And you as a user, you have an account, obviously. And to get it, you're sort of asking for MarineVerse invite. And I have an example here of the screen on the website you may see, where you provide your email and you get an invite, and then you create an account, and then you have it. And just quickly about account itself, you mostly manage it on the website currently. This is how it looks right now for me. And two things to point out for now, or three things to point out right now are my name, country, time zone, and my profile picture. And you can see I have those concepts here as well. So picture, we also recently added 3D avatar, and there is a time zone, and there is a country and the country flag. And those concepts of time zone and country flag influence another concept called sailing league. And I'll show you quickly the example of the sailing leagues. We have here, again on the website, we have a dinghy zone 6, or dinghy or standard. All those concepts refers to leagues that we have here. For example, standard, this is kind of where everyone starts, and then you graduate to your time zone based league, like zone 3. We currently have 3 zones, zone 3, 6, and 8. And country based league, not every country currently has one, but there is a couple of existing ones like US, UK, or Germany. And And then there is a boat type, like yacht, dinghy, or wasp. We currently have 3 boats. So essentially, league groups together a boat and a sort of a skill level that you have, and you as a user have a league membership that I actually have to add to this diagram. All right, so right now 2 main concepts to remember are user account and sailing league. And probably one of the first things that you will see in a game is this sort of sailing lessons screen, and related to that progression panel. In here it says ahoy mate. In order to become a skipper, you have to do a couple of things. So this is sort of like part of onboarding, and we have progression levels like mate or skipper, and then progression level conditions like finish a tutorial or take part in a race. Often we're talking about platform races, which have platform leaderboards. So just quickly about platform races, what they are basically races they are races based on the platform you're playing in, so like Steam or Oculus. So for example, here is a leaderboard for Steam dinghy race in Sydney, and what makes those races special is they're kind of persistent, so it's always the same. You can play today or a month ago or next month, and this race is always there, and it's kind of waiting for you to submit your time, and the leaderboard is based on time. And those races are good to basically master one specific race and try over and over, if that's what you want to do. Another thing related to platform, both on Steam and Oculus, is this concept of achievements. So there are badges you can earn by completing certain tasks, and some of those tasks are part of onboarding and progression level conditions, but some are just there for fun. And onboarding is designed to help you onboard into the game and kind of expose you to all the different things you can do. And we're talking about sailing leagues, and here in sailing lessons, we can see that concept is used here in this navigation, where we have a dinghy league, standard league, pro, and wasp, and then we have lessons. So here are all the 3 lessons we have for a dinghy. And you can imagine we have lessons for a standard, which is a yacht, and then more advanced lessons and lessons specific to the wasp. Another big thing that you will be exposed to in the game quite soon is this concept of daily race practice. So every league, every 24 hours has a new daily race practice, which is a unique race that is happening in a specific location, like Sydney or New York. And you as a player can submit the entry, as in participate in the race, and that will then go to a leaderboard. And I have an example here, so you may have seen it. Actually, here is the example of the leaderboard for a daily race practice, right? So we have concepts like your name that you provided in the profile, your picture, the time that it took you to complete the race, the difference to the number 1 entry, how many points you got for the participating in that race, and whether you have a sailing pass. And as I said, this happens every day. So every day you can do a race in every league that you belong to. So there will be a dinghy daily race practice or a wasp daily race practice. And then at the end of the day, you will get a daily race practice result email that will essentially tell you, okay, this race is finished. It will point you to the leaderboard so you can have a look. And it will also include sailing instructions for the next daily race practice. And sailing instructions are essentially a race track. So like what markers you're going to follow, like 1, 2, 3, or maybe 1, 3, 1, 3, and different combinations. And also what is the handicap you may be having. And currently the handicap only applies in a standard league, but this may change in the future. All right. Another concept we have is a race series, and race series is essentially a collection of daily race practice results. So we have an example in here where we can see leaderboards for different time-based race series. And the example would be a weekly race series, monthly, seasonal, like summer or winter. I need to improve that. Or a custom one, like recently we had a competition called Winter Games, and that was also a race series. And at the end of the series, currently for a weekly and monthly, you also get the email with the link to the results. And obviously, again, because this is all coming through a sailing league, there is a race series for Yacht US and Pro and WASP, and so on and so forth. There is one more thing that the daily race practice contributes to, which is your rating. And rating is sort of your overall position in MarineVerse Cup racing community. And I guess what's special about it is that it's not time-based, because race series are valid for a week, month, and so on, whereas rating is sort of like it is what it is, and you can change it by participating in races. And here is an example of mine. Because I specified my city and state, you can see my rating in all those different location filters, right? And in here you can see an example, and that rating is basically updated every day. And players by racing are gaining or losing points. And if you are a long-time MarineVerse Cup player, this is kind of a fun way to keep track of your progress. And we have a global rating, which sort of calculates your score overall in a game. But then we have also ratings per specific league, so you can kind of focus on what you want to focus on. And if you are coming from a country with lots of competitors like US, you can also filter by that, right? So you can see how you're doing within your own country. So back to concepts, we have a user account, and now we kind of can recap that by setting your country flag, by setting your country, you will get a flag in the leaderboards. But filtering down to state and city, you will get access to your standing in those in the city or state. But in the future, if we decide to add a state league or a city league, that will also give you access to that. And then time zone is another way to group players. So we have like 3 zones, and the time zone you set in your profile will influence that. All right, so what did we cover so far? We covered onboarding and tutorials. We covered the platform race, which is this kind of persistent thing that you can keep replaying and getting better at. We covered daily race practice, which is this rolling 24 hours competition that contributes to race series and your overall writing. There is one more thing we haven't covered and that is important, which is a multiplayer. So there are two kinds of multiplayer races, so-called instant multiplayer races and scheduled multiplayer races. And again, they are grouped by a league. So there is a different instant multiplayer race than there is for standard than there is for pro. And essentially, if you just want to hop in and play multiplayer with someone else, you have to agree on what league you want to play in, like let's say standard, and just jump in, and the race will be already ongoing or will be waiting for you to start it. That's the instant mode. Because it's kind of hard to find other players, we also have scheduled multiplayer races. So those have a specific time, like Tuesday 8 p.m. That they are scheduled for. Again, they are part of a sailing league. And to participate in those, you kind of have to respond and say, okay, I'm going to attend it, like do RSVP yes. And for that race, you will get an email with the confirmation, you'll get an email reminder, and then you should show up on a specific date and time, and you actually will get a join schedule multiplayer race button, which is different from instant multiplayer race button, and you can join that to race. What we need to develop further, and doesn't really exist at the moment, is how those things will contribute to leaderboards, because technically there is no reason why there wouldn't be a race series and a user rating for multiplayer racing. It's just something that we haven't quite developed yet. All right, let's zoom out. So we covered already a lot. The last couple of small things I want to point out are there is whole thing called event mode, which is how you can use MarineVerse Cup at a boat show or the exhibition. I will not go into details right now, and it kind of needs more work anyway, but this exists, and this is applied to a specific user account, and it changes the user interface of the game to make it basically run in an event mode. Another fun thing to talk about is sort of conceptual locations we have in a game, and there is a couple. So first of all, we have everything that happens within MarineVerse Cup app itself, and there are two main areas there. There is a clubhouse area, and there is a sailing location, basically water where you go sailing, and that can be based in Sydney, New York, other locations, or in a generic open water. So tutorials often happen in this generic open water environment, whereas daily race practice races or multiplayer races or platform races happen in Sydney, New York, and other locations. Within a clubhouse, there is a couple of specific areas as well. So there is a jetty starting area, sort of the first in-game real location you start in, and that's where you get an overview of the clubhouse area. Then you usually go inside the clubhouse, and you are presented with the big menu, which is the TV screen that we have seen in here. So this is inside the clubhouse, and we have our TV that gives us access to different options. We also have something called on-hand menu, and this is this menu that you can bring up by pressing the button on the controller, and it's always there with you, whether you are in a clubhouse or on the water. You get the access to this. And then there is a briefing room, which is another room within the clubhouse, and you get access to it after the race. So currently you usually go menu, sailing location, back to the briefing room, back to the menu, back to the sailing location, and so on and so forth. In the future, you actually may go menu, briefing room, where you will get the sailing instructions and details and make some decisions about the race, and then sailing location, but that's not there yet. Outside of the app, it's kind of worth calling out a couple of other locations. So there is a website that we already discussed where you can manage your profile, get leaderboards, review different stats. There is our chat server where people are hanging out. You can chat about the racing with others, ask questions, and the results are actually mostly published in there. So that's a good place to be. And recently we kind of played with Mozilla Hub's Clubhouse concept. So that's a 3D environment that exists outside of the app, and you can access it in VR, but you can also access it just through the web browser, and you can see basically other players there and chat and discuss with them. And in the future, this may become where we will expose parts of the website. So who knows? Maybe instead of going through menu, briefing house, sailing location, sometimes you will be able to go Mozilla Club, sailing location, and then back to the Mozilla Clubhouse. This is up to be decided. All right. Just looking at the map, I'm wondering whether there is something important I missed. Hopefully not. Hopefully those are all the major concepts we have in the game. Actually, if you have some comments or questions, please comment on the YouTube video. This will be uploaded to YouTube. So as we kind of working on this and improving it, we can take your feedback on board. I was just thinking whether I want to go into any other details, but I think this is more than enough for now. I will upload this picture as well and put it into the description of the video so you can inspect it at your own leisure. But other than that, thanks for watching, and looking forward to seeing you on Discord and on the water.